Welcome back. It's still the morning brief right here on Channels Television. And of course, it's May Day, Workers' Day, where we celebrate the resilience, the productivity of workers, the value that workers bring to the table, their conditions of service, their requirements in order to help them continue to be productive. And of course, to continue to be able to, live and enjoy a living wage, which is, more critical, than any other thing. So are those elements there that ensure that their welfare is, if not top-notch, but at least above average? Are those conditions there, both in the public service and in the private sector? Those subtopics under workers' welfare are very, very critical, and they come through on Workers' Day as we review those conditions of service and find out from labor what the level of their commitment to those subtopics as far as Workers' Day is concerned. Let's have this conversation now, and joining us from our Abuja studio is the president of the Trade Union Congress, Mr. Festus Osifo. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the morning brief.
Good morning, Bukola. Good morning, Kayode and Jeffrey. Yeah, good morning to you all, and I wish you all happy International Workers' Day.
And I assume that this will be the colors of the Workers' Day celebration that we'll be seeing from Abuja today, the one you're dressed in.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, this is the attire for this year, 2026.
Indeed, beautiful, but we hope that workers' welfare is just as colorful as what you're dressed in. Let's begin the conversation. So, on Workers' Day celebration 2026, the university staff unions are on strike. The last I checked, in March last month, the Academic Staff Union of Universities was giving the federal government an ultimatum on the need to implement the new salary scale that had been agreed upon, brokered by the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa. Add to this the current economic crunch that is especially now made more difficult by the fact that Nigerian workers are purchasing, across all strata now, petrol for 1,320 Naira per litre, more than 500% increase from the prior to the war in Iran. And some would say perhaps the voice of labor that is supposed to be in the defense of workers' rights has become hollow in the past couple of months. What is the level of the commitment of labor to these issues?
First, I wish to, on behalf of the leadership, the National Executive Council of Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, I wish to felicitate with the entire Nigerian workers for yet again another Workers' Day. Thank God Almighty for seeing us through another 1 year, and today is a day that we are yet again to celebrate the Nigerian workers and to say thank you for the labor that you've put into the productivity and making Nigeria economy a going concern. Yes, the day, it actually comes in two-fold. One fold is for us to tell ourselves thank you, even if nobody tells us thank you, because we know that Nigerian workers are actually the people that are behind those numbers that you hear. Month in, month out, you hear from the Nigeria National Bureau of Statistics, you hear the GDP figures, how the economy is growing. If not for the labor, if not for the strength, if not for the resilience of Nigerian workers, I could tell you that those GDP will not be moving in the direction that they are moving today. So that is on one hand. Then on the other hand, we also use today to reflect on the challenges that Nigerian workers are passing through, on the issues that are, the economic issues, and also issues of insecurity that has exacerbated in our land over the last years. So it's an opportunity for us to also examine where are we coming from, where are we today, and where do we want to chart, the course forward tomorrow. So having said that, and coming to your question, Bukola, yes, over time, the trade union movement, we've been extremely consistent on what we think the government must do. The government now, across 3 levels, both the federal, the state, and the local government, what we think they must do to address the plight of the Nigerian workers. As you rightly said, that today, petrol, for example, has moved from about 700 naira to about 1,200 thereabout. That's roughly maybe about 80% increment or thereabout. So when these started occurring, for us in TUC, we mounted the rostrum and we were in the vanguard of trying to push and let governments understand the implication of this, not just for the Nigerian workers alone, but for the entire economy. For us, if you remember, I was in your studio over and over again in the last 2-3 years when there was massive devaluation of Naira. We have said that the greatest economic damage that has happened to the Nigerian economy is actually allowing Naira to slide the way they are. Yes, we understand that government said they want to remove subsidy from Naira, the Naira subsidy. That was fine. But when Naira went to about 1,400, 1,700, the most consistent voice that was out there advocating that the Naira does not have business being in 1,700 Naira was TUC. We were extremely consistent. We brought up a 15-page demand. We submitted it to the Secretary of Government of the Federation. We followed up with several meetings to explain to them the implication of this, because we felt that at that point the Naira was undervalued. Because Naira was undervalued, it is going to affect the purchasing power of Nigerian workers. The first conference we had on this was in January 2024. When 2023, 2024, we started advocating on this strongly. And I could tell you that it's actually because of the strong push that we did. That is why we are actually where we are today. Remember, the CBN governor, the current CBN governor at the time, went to an international forum and he said that Naira is undervalued. If you listen to all captains of industry, if you listen to all rating agencies, all economic think tank, both in Nigeria and abroad, they said that the Naira was undervalued. What is the implication of that, Bukola? The implication of that is that when your currency is undervalued, when you allow your currency to be grossly undervalued and you didn't manage it very well, we are not saying you should pay subsidy in it. We are not saying you should overvalue it like it was done in the past. But we believe that the value of Naira should be somewhere around 800 to 900 Naira to $1 today. If that be, because Nigeria is an import-dependent country, if Naira is valued properly, I could tell you that it has a direct impact in bringing down the cost of living today. For example, if Naira was selling at about 900 Naira to $1, the petrol that we buy today, even with the problems in the Middle East, the petrol that we buy today will be selling for less than about 900 Naira per liter. When the problem is over and crude price goes down to about $70, $60 per barrel, petrol will be selling for around $400 to $500, $400 to $500 Naira per liter. So that is the implication. All right, comrade, if I get you correctly, the iPhone that you are using or the Samsung phone that you are using is that expensive. It is because of the undervalue. We are undervaluing our Naira. So okay, for us, comrade, if I get you correctly, we have had meetings on this. Right. Okay. Pardon me. Apologies for butting. I just want to get this clear so we can have something punchy. So you're saying that yes, the conversation around minimum wage is good because we're hearing that. There's push for minimum wage to increase beyond what it is already. But you're saying, first of all, let us fix the value of the Naira, because I'm looking at the value. If it's going to be 800, then Nigeria's minimum wage, 70,000, will be worth about $87, unlike the $54 it is worth right now with the current value of the Naira. Are you saying that it's more important to first find a way to bring down the value of the Naira, or at least bring up the value of the Naira, then we can talk about minimum wage later? Is that what you're saying? I know it's a double-edged approach, all right? So even as we are fixing the value of the Naira, we could also be having conversation around the minimum wage. So we could go, it's a kind of mutually exclusive. So it's not you do one and you now, I mean, they are not independent. You must finish one before progressing to the other. But what we are saying is that if you address both of them at the same time, it has direct effect on the purchasing power of the Naira. Because for us, it is not just about the volume, Kayode. You can come up today and say that the volume, Nigerian minimum wage is, let's say, 1 million Naira. But what is actually the value of that 1 million Naira? What can that 1 million Naira purchase? So if you don't fix the fundamentals and you are just talking about minimum wage alone, it may not necessarily have the right purchasing power that it ought to have. So what we are saying is that fix everything holistically. I mean, this can actually be done. Let me quickly say this. CBN, they know this very well. You could see at a time, towards the end of last year to the beginning of 2026, they started, doing a lot of aggressive defense of the Naira. It got to about 1,250 Naira, at the official market, right? But at that point, you see the portfolio investors. You see the leaders of the subnationals, that is the governors, they will start kicking, they will start pushing, and that they will start saying no, that you should not, let the Naira achieve the right value it ought to achieve. The reason they are doing this, for the portfolio investors, it's all about them, because they felt that they brought in dollar at a certain exchange rate. So if you overvalue it and they are now, or if you do the right valuation and they are not taking away their investment, that they are going to lose. That is their concern. That the concern of the subnational is also that, because, I've listened to a lot of narrative. We always say that the government is making more money because of fuel subsidy removal. No, more money that they are actually making is because of the dollar exchange rate. Because, for example, every month, NUPROC, NNPC, they pay royalties to the federation accounts, all right? You have the petroleum profit tax and all that paid in dollars into the federation account. So if, for example, you were getting, let's say, $500,000 every month, approximately, when you were changing it at 450, it's going to give you a lesser Naira value compared to when you are not changing it at about 1,400. So they're actually making more Naira. So the governors, they will start kicking. So not that CBN doesn't know that our Naira is undervalued, but because of external pressures, they are trying to manage it one way or the other. So for us, it should be a multi-sectorial approach. One, I mean, we discussed about the minimum wage. We discussed about how the life of an average Nigerian worker will be much more better. But we can't discuss it in isolation. If you do that in isolation and the purchasing power continuously erode, you will be paid 1 million Naira and it may be worthless. All right,
Mr. Osifo, you say the fundamentals should be fixed, but the conditions of work, of service of the workers, they're not improving. In fact, they're being exacerbated by global concerns. But we must anchor at this point, and of course, Nigerian workers are hoping that labor will be more vibrant in intervening on their behalf. Thank you so much, sir, for coming through on this conversation. Mr. Festus Osifo is the president of the Trade Union Congress. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bukola. Yeah, we appreciate it.